Here are 3 reasons why I believe every person on planet Earth should be an investor. Now, many of you are working 9-to-5 jobs, and that's totally fine. Everybody has their own lifestyle that they prefer. Sometimes they like working a 9-to-5, sometimes they don't. People operate differently, and there's nothing wrong with either one of those. However, I believe that even if you're working a 9-to-5, and even if you're making millions and millions of dollars working your job, you can still start investing on the side for 3 reasons. And the first one is inflation. So, as we know, if we don't do anything with our money, we're actually losing money just by letting it sit there. So whether it's under your pillow or in a safe or somewhere hidden in your house, or maybe even just at the bank, it's being eaten away by inflation. Inflation for the past few years has been over 8%. So that means that you're losing literally 8% of your capital every single year. So year after year after year, you have 8% less. So imagine if you had $100,000 in the bank. That means that in 12 months from now, assuming inflation is 8%, you would have only had $92,000 left. The trick is that the bank account is still going to say $100,000, right? So at a glance, you might not even realize it, but the cost of goods often goes up by 8% or more. Most of the time it's more, but let's say an average of 8%. And so now you have the purchasing power of only $92,000. How can we solve that problem? Well, investments give us the opportunity to solve that problem by outpacing inflation. So if we know that inflation is 8%, we simply have to find an investment that produces more than 8%. So it could be 8.1%, it could be 9%, it could be 80%. It just really depends on the types of investments that you're looking at and the types of things you're investing into, because some things will be safer and oftentimes those will be smaller and slower and more guaranteed returns. However, that makes a safe investment, right? Usually you have to take on some sort of risk in order to be able to generate large profits. If you're investing into safe things and only really safe assets, super stable, not very volatile, that also limits your upside. Remember, volatility is not a negative or a positive thing. Volatility simply means that the asset is fluctuating. Just like it can fluctuate down in a negative sense, negative volatility, we can also have positive volatility. That asset could easily jump up in value, and all of a sudden we made a lot of money overnight, seemingly. Well, no, we did our research and we invested into something that we knew was going to perform, or we had a really high probability of winning that investment. And so according to our risk management profile and according to our investment plan, that investment made sense. We're not just investing out of the blue. Inflation is one of our main goals that we want to combat with our investments. So even if you're working 9-to-5, you should still invest, because that allows you the opportunity, at least, to outpace inflation and to make some money on top. If you have a side hustle that's really starting to produce a lot of income for you, then at that point you may want to consider leaving your 9-to-5 if you don't like it, if you don't enjoy it, if you want to spend your time with your family. Everybody has their own why. Everybody has their own reason to why they need some extra income. Maybe they just want extra spending money. So when they do take a vacation from their 9-to-5, which they love, they will have all the spending money that they possibly need. Now, the second one is additional financial stability. Everybody has financial stability to a certain degree. You may have a low degree of financial stability, or you may have a high degree of financial stability. And so financial stability is one of those things that there isn't really a right or a wrong answer. Everybody's at their own level of comfort. So you could be making a lot of money, but you could actually be extremely financially unstable. So let's say, for example, you made all your money in Bitcoin. Let's say you own 100 Bitcoin, right? If you own 100 Bitcoin, when Bitcoin was at $60,000, you had a lot of money, right? And so if you had a lot of money in Bitcoin, that asset is volatile. Remember we talked about volatility? So because Bitcoin is volatile, that can create instability in your portfolio. So you do not have financial stability. You do not have a stable stream of income coming in. You simply just have a lot of money. The main goal with any investment is that it cash flows. It doesn't matter how well it performs if you're never cashing out. You want to make sure that this is something that's producing monthly, maybe weekly cash flow, or maybe even annually, but it's still cash flowing. The goal at the end of the day is cash flow, because that provides us financial stability. And on top of that, it also allows us to reinvest those profits into something else. So that's when we can start tapping into compound interest. So if we have an investment that produces 50% a year, well, what if we take that entire profit that we made and our initial investment and reinvest it for the second year. Well, now we're going to make money on money that we made as profits the previous year. So that's compound interest right there. So we're really accelerating the growth of our investment portfolio at a much faster rate just because we're reinvesting both the initial capital and now the profits as well. And finally, one of the biggest reasons that I believe everybody should invest is financial freedom. So financial stability is one thing, right? Outpacing inflation is another thing, but financial freedom, that's the whole package. So whether you like your 9-to-5 or not, it doesn't really matter because you can have financial freedom in both scenarios. If you have financial freedom, that simply means that you have access to three things. Number one, as much finances as you possibly need, right? That's financial freedom. The second aspect of it is geographical freedom. That means you can be anywhere in the world whenever you want to be there. And the third freedom that we're after here is time freedom. So you have financial freedom, you have geographical freedom, and you have time freedom. Once we've achieved these three freedoms, that's financial freedom. That's true financial freedom. And truthfully, not everybody needs a whole lot of money in order to have financial freedom, but they do need a certain amount. So whether that's 6 figures for you, maybe 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, 10 figures, whatever it is, there's a number that would give you the ability to buy whatever you need. Now, generally speaking, most people would say that once you're making around $300,000, that's considered a good amount for living expenses. So that's kind of like baseline. So in order to have a decently comfortable life, at least in today's day and age in 2022, you'd have to be making around $300,000 a year. If you're making $300,000 a year, well, that means that you can live a fairly comfortable life. You're not wealthy by any means, but you're not really poor either. Everything on top of $300,000, that's when you start getting into the figures where you're really making some good money. With investments, you can easily outpace the $300,000 mark, especially if you're starting out while working a 9-to-5. You just need to start investing some of that money that you're making from your 9-to-5 and start generating passive income. In my program, I teach many different ways that you can make passive income. One of the really easy ones is Airbnb automation. So we have a program where we basically help people find Airbnbs, we negotiate them for them. And a lot of these people are getting into these Airbnbs with zero money down. It's literally that easy. We have a whole team that manages the entire process for you and can even manage your Airbnb if you choose to use our team for that aspect as well. Another really popular investment is Forex trading. In my program, people are literally investing into my Forex trading software and letting the software trade for them. Zero experience, literally have no idea how to trade, but they're using that to generate passive income. And so they're building that up to 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures. I literally have people that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month without lifting a finger because they're using the strategies that I teach and they're using some of these investment opportunities that I teach about in my program. Once they've gotten to that level of stability, it's funny because everybody says that they like their 9-to-5, or a lot of people do say that they like their 9-to-5, but when they start making $500, $600, $700,000, they're like, you know, I don't really like my job that much. You know, and it just stops making sense to work that 9-to-5 as opposed to them just hating it. So they're able to leave if they choose to leave, and they're able to pursue being a full-time investor and then further diversifying their portfolio. So those are the 3 reasons why I believe everybody should be an investor. I'll see you all in the next video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.